Hello everyone, my name is Jessie, lead product data scientist at a video audio content creation startup called Descript. I joined Descript slightly over a year ago and previously worked at Meta for almost 5 years as a DS manager. Before that, I was a data analyst and a product manager at Flipboard. And before that, I was a quantitative analyst at Google on a sales strategy team, building models to identify high potential customers. What prompted me to make this video? I have a lot of friends both in and out of data science field who are curious about my decision to join a startup after many years in a big tech company. They ask me questions such as, what is it like to work as a data scientist in a relatively early stage startup? Do I even have data to work with? How does it compare to my previous experience in big companies? How did I pick my current company to start with? Isn't it like a black box to join? On the other hand, since I joined as a first full-time data hire and we're building the data team, I've been lucky to have the opportunity to think through our hiring strategy, putting together hiring plans, writing interview questions, and interviewing over 150 candidates in the last year. There are common themes in my interview QA rounds which make it clear that some people don't have a framework to think through if joining a startup as the early data member is the right fit for them. With these in mind, I think it would be worthwhile to answer these questions in a video in hope that it would benefit more people than whom I get to talk directly with. And as a bonus, I get to practice video editing and play with some latest features of our product. The rest of the video would be structured as follows. First, I'm going to talk about when to consider leaving. I'm going to touch very briefly on that. And secondly, what stage company to join. Third, where to find startup opportunities. And fourth, what to do when starting to apply and interview with startups. First of all, when to consider leaving, there's this video called Learn, Earn, or Quit by Gary Tan, current president and CEO of Y Combinator, which inspired me significantly and has become my high-level framework to assess what I'm doing. When I was on my previous role, I really wanted to get a holistic view of the entire data lifecycle, including data ingestion, data warehousing, data modeling, and transformation, and understand how to deal with measurement challenges when A/B tests are not viable. Startups that just get started with a limited volume of data open the door for me to learn by doing. What stage company to join? Based on my research around a year ago, Series B companies start to have explicit need for data. Before that, oftentimes the engineers, product team, or the CEO are doing the work themselves. In terms of picking the startup versus a big company, they differ on many dimensions, and here are a few that stood out for me. First of all, different skill sets. At Google and Meta, depth of knowledge and soft skills on framing and driving alignment matter a lot, especially as one matures in seniority. I became hyper-focused on specific areas within the product such as profile or groups, and in addition to doing analysis, spent a lot of time with my PM and EM counterparts to evolve product strategy, size opportunities, and socialize ideas. We also needed to navigate org complexities every now and then to get sign-offs and move an initiative forward. Working as a founding data member in a startup, however, involves more breadth of work and being scrappy as needed due to a lack of processes and resources. I no longer had the luxury with those well-built tables at my startup. I took Introduction to Data Warehousing course on Udemy and built my horribly designed DIM and fact tables to unblock my work, which enabled me to learn a lot and increasingly appreciate the work of analytics engineers. Second, learning and development and mentorship. By nature, startups don't compare to big companies in terms of in-house learning and development and lack mentorship from people in the same domain. Take me as an example. For the most of the time, I was the only full-time data person at Descript. At Meta, I benefited significantly from training such as situational leadership, crucial conversations, and industry-leading data science talents are work chat message away. At Descript, I become the person to develop the best practices for data-related work, which is an extremely humbling experience and puts me in this constant learning mode through blogs, books, online classes, etc. It also pushed me to get more bold to proactively reach out to those at similar positions in other startups, which enabled me to build connections and learn. Third, data culture. Coming from Meta, I somewhat took the data-driven culture for granted. All functions PM, EM, designers, UXR, whether data savvy or not, are more or less set the expectations to looping data in product development process. Analysis of desire to supplement strategic shifts. Opportunity sizing is mandatory to prioritize new features. Pre-test, backtest, and holdout are standard for feature rollouts. It's a very different thing in the startup world. On one hand, there are a lot more high-risk, low-data decisions that analysis is simply ineffective. On the other hand, while people don't intentionally exclude data in their conversations, they might not have the right expectations for where data might provide value. As a result, it usually starts at the bottom of the funnel. We started by doing a lot of confirmative analysis to evaluate a decision after the fact. And it takes effort to work upstream to showcase the value of data in evaluating a decision through A/B testing, in opportunity sizing to decide if a project is worth pursuing, in helping fleshing out a vague product direction, or in identifying the strategic direction in the first place. It is not easy, but it is extremely fulfilling to see the change where stereotypes and the misconceptions of a data function break down, and the company as a whole is able to use data more effectively to make better decisions and drive growth. Where to find startup opportunities? I personally looked at a few things when job switching a year ago, but it really depends on the scale of the company you are interested in. Also, I know the market isn't too good right now, so one might need to be more creative to open up the top of the funnel. For big company opportunities, I browsed LinkedIn and set up new position alerts on Indeed. For startups, I use a few things. I use AngelList. I think it is renamed to Well-Found or something recently. I browsed through the YC private company list. And there's also this work@startup.com. If you have connections to YC founder, you could also ask them to post on Bookface, which is a private community for YC founders. Or if by any chance you have connections to VCs, you could ask for introduction to any of their portfolio company that's hiring. If you haven't, I strongly recommend thinking through the dimensions that matter the most to you and find every opportunity to collect signal throughout the interview process. For me, for example, a magic product, smart and humble coworkers, transparency in company culture, and undefined data space for career growth are the top areas to collect signal on. Joining a startup is not about nailing the interview process or being lucky and picked by that dream company that looks great in a superficial way, such as funding, but rather result of mutual selection. Thinking through those important dimensions in advance benefits in a few ways. First of all, denoise. Every startup would want to sell us what they are good at and likely won't proactively bring up what they are struggling with or haven't put much thought to. Without a framework of what I'm looking for in mind, it's easy to get anchored by what the company is great at and what the company thinks you should look for. And second, opportunity to understand company culture and the interviewers. Oftentimes, they are your future coworkers, especially in times of tension and potential conflict. What I mean by that is, in order to collect the aforementioned signals, we sometimes need to ask hard and spicy questions. In addition to what the interviewer answers, how they answer discloses a lot of information. I would put a flag if the interviewer brushes aside my question, becomes clearly irritated, or making belittling comments. On the flip side, even if an interviewer isn't able to give me a satisfactory answer, the fact that they acknowledge the question, make an effort to share as much context with me as possible, and turn a harsh question into a meaningful conversation gives me confidence in our future collaborations. Lastly, very utilitarian, better conversation starters in an interview. At some point, you will likely be asked, what are you looking for in your next role? The question is important for employers to understand candidates' motivation. Compared to generic and hand-wavy answers such as opportunity for career growth, I'm looking for drive impact for the businesses, thoughtful answers spark meaningful conversations and demonstrate one's thoughtfulness. Lastly, I have a tactical advice. When talking through past projects, always cover the impact And don't talk only about technical details. When interviewing for a DS role at a relatively early stage startup, it's highly likely that people you are talking with don't come from a technical background, and extremely easy to lose them when going over technical details. Instead, you can take a structure such as, what's the context of the problem? Why is it an important and potentially urgent problem to solve? What did you do to solve it? And what's something unique you brought to the table? And what's the impact of your work? What's the delta between what the team ended up doing thanks to your work and what the team would have done without it? This is not meant to be a comprehensive guide, and there's still so much I'm learning day by day, but hopefully this video provides some useful information and advice for those who are debating to consider a startup or not. Thoughts, comments, appreciated. By the way, we are hiring a marketing and sales DS role at Descript. This is a first hire on the marketing and sales side who will partner closely with the executive team to define marketing strategy, do foundational analysis to understand our customer journey, develop the best practices to measure marketing channel efficiency and incrementality through A/B testing, causal inference, etc. If you are interested and believe you are a good fit, please don't hesitate to apply and or reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. Bye!